for 2023 is the Springfield Echelon. The striker-fired polymer frame pistol features Springfield's new variable interface system for mounting multiple optic footprints and the serialized cog fire control for inserting into multiple frames. Find out more at springfield-armory.com.
Hey there, Tundra Nation, and welcome back to the channel. With the Tundra crew starting to pack up and head down to Gunstock, Texas, we all have travel on our minds, and this got me thinking about travel, and the idea hit me. With that, the order went out to write, and we present to you what your truck gun says about you. So sit back, buckle up, and let's start the show. First up, we have the generic Glock Gen 3. Since it's your truck gun, it's probably your least favorite Glock, and that's because it's the police trade-in chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson. The truck you keep this in is due for a trade-in itself, since the lease is almost up. You keep it in your truck to complement the Glock that you carry, the Glock that you compete with, and the Glock that you sleep with. You do a Stop the Bleed course 3 times a year, but it's not to brush up on your own knowledge. Oh no, that's to help the teacher out. Your district manager job is about as bland as the chicken your wife is gonna cook for you tonight. Boring. If your truck gun is more of a trunk gun, then you probably carry a Romanian Draco. You keep this in true pistol form with no brace and a Korean drum mag that you picked up from the Denton County Fairgrounds gun show hanging off the bottom. You've outfitted the Draco with a JMac muzzle device because they're extra loud, and I guess a 12-inch barrel just didn't do it for you. The music played in this car can also be dialed up to 11 at all times, and it mostly consists of metal and the most aggressive hip-hop you can find on Spotify. For those that consider themselves a little bit more old school, you most likely keep a sawed-off double barrel in the back of your truck. Now, you remember something happening back in the 90s in Idaho when a guy chopped the barrel off of his shotgun, but you don't need to worry about that. You're friends with the local sheriff. You live in the same town you grew up in, and that your dad grew up in, and that your grandfather grew up in. I think you get the idea. Your mental image of what a man is comes from you still being able to watch The Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood every Sunday on VHS. AM radio is all you listen to on the way to your local pharmacy to pick up your Centrum Silver and a Farmer's Almanac. Good luck with that hip replacement next to your Gramps. Now, what you won't need luck with, though, is finding me 7 days a week over on Twitch by clicking the link down in the details. Come hang out and tell me what truck gun you have. Please don't use your vehicle as a gun safe, folks. It's not smart. All you LARPers knew this one was coming up soon, but if you carry an AR-15 in your truck, then your truck looks like prime target #1 for smash and grabs. You probably have more accessories on your gun than the gun itself is worth, and that's just the beginning. Your Ford F-150 Raptor that you use as a daily driver has more tactical upgrades on it than the A-10's airframe. And you don't just carry one AR either. No, no, no. Those upgrades to the truck were all additional gun and accessory storage. You have every hidden compartment you've ever seen on Facebook ads installed, and that's a positive at this point, so you don't have to keep them in a Liberty safe. There's enough guns in your truck to arm the entire gang that will inevitably steal your vehicle. The giveaway was, by the way, the light bar on the top that had AR-15 bolt-face logos in it.
Why are you the way that you are?
Moving on to the lever gun, guys. Now, I'm not even going to dignify this one with a specific brand because all lever guns to me are basically the same. You drive the oldest and most beat-up truck of anybody on this list, and you have a passion for restoring and racing old cars, yet you never seem to have the money or the parts to do any of it, so you just end up collecting broken down vehicles on that dirt patch that's supposed to be your lawn. You carry a revolver as your EDC, even though you recognize semi-autos are usually superior. You admit this under the guise that it doesn't really apply to you because you've practiced enough to overcome those little issues. In reality, you're just doing Dirty Harry cosplay while clinging to a childish sense of bravado.
That does not make sense.
If you consider yourself a hunter, then you probably keep a Remington 700 chambered in 30-06 in the back of your truck. This is not a concealed self-defense gun, nobody. This is proudly displayed on the gun rack in your truck made from the antlers of your previous kills, or at least that's the story you tell everyone about this awesome Amazon find. You wear woodland camo at all times and think that laws about hunting over bait were written by liberals, and that's why you always have bags of corn in your truck. You've never held down a job and you spent most of your time in the woods, but somehow you still have money. Your friends are always impressed that you know which streams have the cleanest and coldest water, but you suspect they're only your friends because you always have access to fresh mountain hooch.
That is correct.
If you laid off of it a bit yourself, you might actually be able to come home with something from the bar that wasn't classified by David Attenborough as a water buffalo. Do revolvers not really do it for you, but polymer guns, well, they just seem to feel like toys? Well, congrats on having that Beretta 92 in the glove box of your Trans Am, bud. You only listen to Warrant and Alice Cooper unless, of course, you're feeling aggressive, and then you put on some Megadeth. You are perpetually stuck in the 80s, and everybody in your life knows it. You use more Aquanet than any girl you've ever dated and will forever rock the short jean shorts during the summer. You think that cinema peaked in 1988 and haven't watched anything new since 1994 unless Mel Gibson's in it. The Breakfast Club, it speaks to you on an emotional level and reminds you of your childhood. Oh, by the way, if you live in Florida, switch the gun to a Chrome Taurus PT92, change the nostalgia movie to Scarface, and add some white powder residue on that Tom Selleck-inspired mustache. The younger crowd, not knowing any better, will often have a Kel-Tec Sub 2K tucked away in the back of their Ford Ranger. Now, the Ranger doesn't offer a lot in the way of storage or concealment, and this is the only time the Sub 2K has ever been relevant. Wait a second, that actually might be a good new slogan for Kel-Tec. Let's try this one out. For when you need a gun, you can actually hide from your parents. What? What do you mean you already talked to Kel-Tec about it? Yeah, and what do you mean? What? It doesn't send the wrong message to kids. Come on. Yeah, now that you say it, yeah, okay. I guess it's still better than that water sports ad they ran a while back, huh? If you keep this in your vehicle, you communicate mostly through text and probably missed the picture meme I just put up because you were only listening to this through one AirPod and also editing an Instagram photo. Not to be forgotten, we have the ultimate problem solver, the High Point. This is often found in the center console of a leased vehicle that's due for repossession next month. The inside of the car is full of Red Bull cans and Subway wrappers, and this person is often found wearing the sweatpants of his girlfriend that just got out of rehab, also with a No Fear shirt. Looks aren't important to you, and your choice of pistol confirms that with a slide that looks like it's got an extra 21st chromosome. You have a subwoofer in the back that makes every beat sound like the trunk of your car is about to rattle off. To you, it might sound good, but to everyone else, much like your choice in pistol, it's cheap and will be replaced next tax season. The SUV driver from the suburbs is up next, and they might often have a Mossberg Shockwave or whatever that Remington abomination is tucked away under their seats. You're a firm believer that if you rack the slide, it'll scare off your attacker, but if they're still advancing after you get out of the car and go to the back seat to retrieve this, they're just as determined to get you as your wife is to have one more yoga lesson with Darren before you take that second honeymoon. You listen to Nickelback and adamantly defend them online whenever somebody disparages them. When you're feeling edgy, you might go back to your youth and throw on some Green Day. You spend your weekends yelling at your son's t-ball coach to put your son in, even though he's already taken off his cleats and is drawing turtles in the dirt with his toes. Maybe you might be able to adopt some Cuban refugee to help you get that winning trophy in your house that your natural bloodline could not produce.